At the park under the twilight sky, Jenny waited nervously, her heart pounding when Taeyang arrived. She could see the uncertainty in his eyes. Hey, he said softly, stepping closer. Hey, she replied, feeling a mixture of dread and relief. I wanted to talk about everything. Me too. Taeyang said, his expression serious. What do you want? Jenny took a deep breath. I need to figure out what I truly want. It's not fair to either of you to keep living in this limbo. Taeyang nodded, understanding. I'm here for whatever you decide, but I need you to be honest with yourself. Suddenly, Jenny felt a wave of regret wash over her. I didn't mean to hurt either of you. Jungkook has always been there for me, and I betray him. Meanwhile, Jungkook stood alone in his room, replaying the confrontation in his mind. His heart felt heavy with betrayal. He had always trusted Taeyang, considering him a brother. Now that trust felt shattered. Why did it have to come to this? He whispered to himself, tears brimming in his eyes. I thought we were a team. He paced the room, feeling anger and sadness intertwined. I believe in you both. How could you do this to me? The thought that Jenny had kissed Taeyang gnawed at him. It was a betrayal that cut deeper than he could have imagined. Jungkook looked at the photo of the three of them from happier times, a reminder of the bond they once shared. What happened to us? He lamented, feeling the weight of loneliness press down on him. Back at the park, Jenny found the courage to voice what was in her heart. Taeyang, I need you to know that my feelings for Jungkook are real, but I'm scared of losing you too. Taeyang stepped closer, his voice softening. I get it, Jenny, but you need to choose. I can't be the reason you and Jungkook suffer. I don't want to lose either of you, she said, her voice shaking. Just then Jungkook arrived, his expression a mix of heart and determination. Jenny, can we talk? Just asked. The tension in the air shifted. Taeyang nodded, stepping back but keeping his gaze fixed on Jenny. Jungkook, please, Jenny began, but he cut her off. No, let me speak, he said, his voice cracking. I trusted you both. I thought we were in this together. You have both hurt me in ways I never imagined. Tears streamed down his face as he continued. I thought I meant something to you, Jenny. How could you let him in? His pain was palpable and Jenny's heart ached for him. Jungkook, I never meant to betray you. She pleaded, it's just happened. That's not good enough, he interrupted, his frustration spilling over. I don't know if I can forgive this. You both mean the world to me, and now I feel like I have lost everything. Jungkook took a step back, his breath shaky. I need time to think. I can't be in the middle of this anymore. With that, he walked away, leaving Jenny standing in shock, her heart breaking as she watched him go. Jungkook, wait, she called after him, but he didn't return back. Taeyang stepping closer, his expression filled with empathy. You both need space. He will come around when he is ready. Jenny felt utterly lost, torn between her love for Jungkook and her complicated feelings for Taeyang. She didn't know how to bridge the gap that had formed between them, but she knew she had to find a way. The days following Jungkook's departure were long and suffocating. Jenny found herself walking through the house like a ghost, her heart aching with every breath. Taeyang's presence, though gentle and caring, only served as a reminder of the chaos that had erupted. But it wasn't him she wanted to be near. It was Jungkook, the man she had promised herself to, the man whose heart she had broken. Jungkook hadn't come home for days, and the silence of his absence was unbearable. His room remained untouched, his side of the bed cold and empty. Jenny would stand by his door late at night, hoping to hear the soft sound of his footsteps returning, but every time there was nothing. Each moment stretched endlessly, and her mind was filled with regret. She couldn't stop replaying the moment she had kissed Taeyang, how it had felt like a whirlwind, something she couldn't explain but knew was wrong. The guilt gnawed at her like a constant edge, and the realization that she had betrayed Jungkook's trust haunted her every waking hour. Taeyang, meanwhile, had become quieter, retreating into himself, as if sensing the growing distance between them. He watched Jenny from a distance, torn between his feeling for her and the understanding that she was struggling with her love for Jungkook. The weight of the situation had left him conflicted, but his heart still ached for her. One afternoon, he found Jenny sitting alone in her living room, staring blankly out the window. Jenny, he began, his voice soft. She didn't respond, lost in her own whirl of grief. I know you miss him, Tang said, moving closer, his heart heavy. But you need to eat to take care of yourself. I don't know how to fix this, Taeyang, Jenny whispered, her voice crackling with emotion. I feel like I have ruined everything. How can I ever face him again? Taeyang hesitated before sitting down next to her. You didn't mean for any of this to happen, Jenny. It's complicated. But you are not a bad person. You made a mistake, and now you have to find a way to move forward. She turned to him, her eyes filled with tears. But how do I do that when I'm hurt him so much? He doesn't even want to see me. What if he never forgive me? Taeyang's expression softened, but there was a hint of sadness in his eyes. I can't answer that for him, but I know you. You are not the type to give up easily. You need to give him time, and yourself too. Across town, Jungkook sat in a dimly lit bar nursing his third drink of the night. The burn of the alcohol did little to numb the pain that throbbed in his chest. His thoughts were a mess swirling with anger, heart, and deep confusion. How could everything have gone so wrong so quickly? He had always thought Jenny was his safe place, the one person he could trust with his heart. But now the memory of her with Taeyang, the two people he cared about most, filled him with a sense of betrayal so deep he was not sure how to recover. Why them? He muttered bitterly to himself, downing the rest of his drink. He slammed the glass onto the table, drawing a few curious glances from the other patrons. He didn't care. His entire world had been ripped apart, and he didn't know how to put the pieces back together. As he sat there, the bartender approached, wiping down the counter. Tough day? Jungkook laughed bitterly. Something like that. Wanna talk about it? The bartender asked, sensing the weight of his shoulders. Jungkook shook his head, his thought drifting back to Jenny. There's nothing to talk about, it's already over. Back at home, Jenny's phone buzzed on the coffee table, snapping her out of her daze, her heart skipping a bit as she saw Jungkook's name flash across the screen. Without thinking, she grabbed it and answered. Jungkook? She breathed, her voice trembling with nope. There was a long pause on the other end, and when he finally spoke, his voice was cold, distant. I don't know why I am calling. Jenny's heart sank. Please just talk to me. I am so sorry. I never wanted this to happen. I trusted you, Jenny. Jungkook's voice cracked with emotion. I trusted you with everything. I thought we had something real. We do, Jenny cried, tears piling down her face. We still do. I love you, Jungkook. I never stop loving you. Then why? Jungkook's voice rose, the pain in his words sharp. Why him? Of all people, why did I have to be Taeyang? He was my best friend. You were supposed to be my everything. Jenny's sobs were uncontrollably now. I don't know. I can't explain it. It just happened. It was a mistake. A terrible, terrible mistake. But please, Jungkook, don't let this be the end of us. I can't lose you. You already have, he whispered before hanging up, the sound of the dial tone echoing in her ears. Jungkook threw his phone onto the counter and buried his face in his hands. His heart ached with the pain he had not felt before, a deep crushing sadness that left him breathless. Every part of him wanted to forgive her, to go back to the way things were, but every time he closed his eyes, he saw her with Taeyang and the anger returned. How could she love him and still betray him like that? He wanted to scream, to break something, but instead he sat in silence, letting the emotions wash over him. The person he had loved most in the world had shattered his heart, and now he didn't know if it could ever be repaired. The next day, morning, Jenny woke to find an envelope on the kitchen table. Her heart raced as she recognized Jungkook's handwriting. Hands trembling, she opened it, tears already pooling in her eyes as she read, Jenny, I don't know how to move forward from this. I love you, but I can't be with someone who makes me feel like second best. I can't complete with Taeyang, and I should not have to. You were my world. my everything. I thought we had a future together, but now I don't know what to believe. Maybe I was foolish to think love you enough to keep us together. I need space. I need time to figure out who I am without you in my life. I don't know if I can ever forgive you, and that breaks my heart. I wish things were different. I wish we could go back to how it used to be, but the truth is, I am scared that we can't. Don't wait for me. I need to be on my own for a while. Maybe one day we will find a way back to each other, but right now, I just need to be alone. Goodbye, Jungkook. The tears fell uncontrollably as Jenny clutched the letter to her chest. It felt like her world was falling apart all over again, and there was nothing she could do to stop it. Jungkook was gone, and she didn't know if he would ever come back.